have just created something totally illogical.
So last week we talked about different aspects of tabletop gaming and different parts of the gaming hobby. Okay, this week I'm going to focus on board games and card games. And a lot of times nowadays when people say board games, they're also including card games in that. It's just sort of one lumped in together. And what I was going to focus on today is sort of, to me, why I choose that board game and card game niche as opposed to maybe some of the other things like RPGs and CCGs, and why board gaming and card gaming has sort of been the place that I've found that fits my interests the best. The number one thing I love about playing board games and card games is sort of the social aspects of it. The older you get, the harder it is to make friends, right? When you're a little kid, if a kid comes up and they're nice to you, you're immediately friends, right? When you get older, it's a little bit tougher. Everybody's got obligations and responsibilities, and you don't always have a lot of bandwidth to invest in friendships, and it's kind of a shame, you know? And nowadays, too, especially if you work from home, you can get your groceries delivered at home. You pay all your bills online. You don't ever have to go to the bank, right? And so you don't have to leave the house if you don't want to leave the house. But humans are social animals, and so it's good to get out of the house every once in a while. It's good to force yourself out once in a while. And board games and card games I have found to be a great way to make new friends and sort of socialize with people, even when you don't feel like going out of the house. It gets you out in that environment, and you're like, hey, people can be pretty good. It's nice to be able to get out and hang out with other people from time to time. The other thing that I think is really cool about games, and one of the reasons I love strategy board games, is because it sort of keeps you mentally sharp. It challenges you. It gets to your logic and your deductive reasoning, and you're thinking about, what am I doing? What's my strategy? But you're also thinking about the other players around the table and what are they trying to do? And if I do this, are they going to do something else? And it really helps keep you mentally sharp. My grandmother used to do the New York Times crossword puzzle every day, and she was super sharp even into her older years. And I thought those crossword puzzles, were doing the trick. My other grandmother, who's still 94, 95 years old right now, her and I used to watch Jeopardy every night, and we would try to answer the questions quicker than the people could buzz in and answer them on TV. And I'm convinced that's helped keep her sharp over the years. My grandpa used to play chess every night. So having an activity like games to keep you sharp is really great as you get older. It's also a great way for young kids to learn those logic and reasonings. And if nothing else, just to learn to be able to sit still and pay attention and devote focus and time to a particular activity without all the distractions of multiple screens and stuff. So there are a lot of reasons why games can be beneficial to you mentally and intellectually. One of the other great things about games is they come in all shapes, sizes, and varieties. No matter what your interest is, I have some buddies who are fishermen. I have a really cool game called Freshwater Fly that's all about fly fishing. I have a board game about quilting, believe it or not, called Patchwork. It's a great two-player game. I have games about history. I particularly love nature games. My wife and I are really into birds, and there's a great game called Wingspan that's all about birds. If you're into Marvel superheroes, there's tons of comic book games. There's sci-fi, there's science, there's games about everything. I have a really cool game called World's Fair that's about the Chicago World's Fair in 1893 and all the inventions that were there. And it's just a card game. It's not hard at all. But while you're playing the game, you can read the little cards and you see, shredded wheat was introduced at the Chicago World's Fair for the first time in 1893. That's kind of a cool thing, right? And so you can learn a lot, and no matter what you're interested in, you can find a game related to that topic. Another thing I love about games is that it's a pretty inexpensive hobby relative to other things. If you golf, you're spending maybe $100 a week or whatever on greens fees and on equipment. If you fish and you're investing in a boat, I've always heard that a boat is just like a hole in the water that you throw money into, right? But hunting, gambling, sports, whatever, electronics, whatever your thing is, cars, they tend to be pretty expensive hobbies, right? Board games and card games are pretty inexpensive. Even today, if you buy one of the more expensive games and you spend 60 or 70 bucks on it, that's something you'll be able to play it forever. You could play it hundreds of times, and it really is an affordable family activity, an affordable way to spend your leisure time. And the last point I'll make about games, and one of the reasons I love board games, is that it's really accessible to anybody. When I get together with different groups at churches and different places, we have young kids that come and play. We have teenagers. We have adults. We have senior citizens. You have old guys like me. It's a wide range of people around the table. And I think it's one of the few areas of life, or one of the few hobbies, especially, where it's accessible to anybody, young and old, rich and poor, male, female, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can get together with anybody and play games and have a good time. So it's a great icebreaker when you're meeting new people. It's a great way to hang out with friends, old friends that you've had for years and years. It's just a really great, inviting, low stress environment, great way to spend time with people. So we hope you'll come down for our board game nights on Wednesdays at Double Looks, and we'll see you around the table. Bye.